How proud does it make me to be part of this tournament? Extremely.
The countdown is on to kick off FIFA's Club World Cup in Seattle.
We get to watch this amazing tournament with some of the best players in the world.
A first of its kind tournament.
That March Madness feel, you can't ease into this tournament. You've got to come out of the gate, you've got to get out of your group, and then it's a one and done format.
With the world watching.
Teams from Japan, from all over the world, literally coming into your backyard.
And the home team taking center stage.
The home field advantage at Lumen is going to be incredibly important. I know our fans are going to show up.
Once-in-a-lifetime matches.
This is something I dreamed of as a kid, to play against some of the biggest clubs in the world, play against some of the biggest players in the world.
And it's just a warm-up before the largest sporting event in the world comes to the Emerald City next year.
The excitement is building, for sure.
Seattle is about to be center stage of the soccer world. FIFA Club World Cup play is about to get underway just a year before the World Cup comes to town. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of King 5 News. I'm Jessica Janner Castro. We are one of 11 cities hosting matches over the next month. This year's tournament is different than we've seen in the past. If you are a new fan or a loyal fan, here's what you need to know.
The Club World Cup begins with 32 teams from around the world. More than a third are from Europe. The rest are from the Americas, Asia, Africa, Oceania, and the Caribbean. So what makes this tournament different from the World Cup? In the World Cup, players represent their home countries, while in the Club World Cup, the players stay with the teams they play with throughout the year. The 32 teams are broken down into 8 groups. Each team will play 3 matches in this group stage at 12 stadiums across the country. Only the top 2 teams from each group will advance. At the end of June, the knockout stage begins with a group of 16. The final game will be on July 13th at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. This tournament will happen every 4 years, just like the World Cup.
So get excited. Teams from Spain, France, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Argentina, and Brazil will be taking to the pitch here in Seattle, along with the hometown team, the Sounders. The atmosphere is expected to be electric no matter which match you go to, and there are still plenty of tickets available. We've been keeping an eye on prices on Ticketmaster. We found seats for as low as $30 for some games. Most Sounders games will start at $55. If you want to see Urwana Red Diamonds from Japan, those tickets are selling fast. Right now, the most expensive match to see is when Paris Saint-Germain, the current French Cup champions, play the Sounders. Those tickets start around $120. Of course, these prices could change the closer we get to those matches. Between the Club World Cup and the World Cup next year, businesses across Seattle are excited to welcome all the fans and their money. But how is FIFA making sure fans get out of SoDo and enjoy other parts of the city? King 5's Drew Andre has a look at the plan.
Next summer's World Cup is projected to draw 750,000 fans from around the world right here to Seattle. The CID is just 4 blocks away from the stadium. But the last major sporting event that was here in Seattle, MLB All-Star Weekend 2023, was a major bust for these businesses.
This is one of the biggest events Seattle's ever going to see, and it's going to be right in our backyard.
The Chinatown International District has 400 businesses and thousands of people living in the neighborhood. There's no doubt next June soccer fans will flood into downtown for the World Cup. But where they decide to spend their money is still not clear.
We have excitement, we also have concerns.
Concerns because when the 2023 MLB All-Star Game came to Seattle, the preparation from businesses in Pioneer Square and the CID was met with disappointment.
I think everyone's business has been affected by this All-Star Weekend in a negative way, surprisingly.
When it didn't materialize, it was definitely a disappointment.
Restaurants beefed up food production. Shops added inventory. Right in the heart of the CID, the boutique Siren said they saw crowds outside.
But no one was coming indoors.
Business leaders in Seattle are adamant this can't happen during the World Cup.
This next year for us, what's really going to be key is communication.
Leaders from the CID and other neighborhoods have been working with FIFA's local organizing committee for 2 years. In the CID, they've done surveys and information sessions with businesses to brainstorm how to attract the crowds inside.
A lot of the times, events like this happen to them, and not maybe with them in mind.
Neighborhood leaders are planning activations, like hosted watch parties and booths set up to draw crowds to their neighborhood. Business owners are voicing the need for sanitation plans, safety plans, and parking plans for everything to go smoothly.
This time we're actually talking to the other businesses in our neighborhood, and if we can all put our brainstorm and put our ideas together, at least we can, at least as a collective, highlight our area and create our own promotions if our needs are being met.
Each neighborhood near the stadium has now hired a World Cup neighborhood liaison. It will be someone's full-time job over the course of the next year to make sure resources are being directed into better helping businesses and attracting fans to this area. In Seattle, I'm Drew Andre, King 5 News.
Both the Club World Cup and the World Cup will be big moneymakers for any host city. The Club World Cup will give Seattle a taste of what's to come next year. Let's take a look at some of the numbers. Overall, FIFA expects 3.7 million fans to pack the stands during the Club World Cup. The World Cup is going to double that, with 6.5 million fans expected to root on their favorite teams. When we take a look at the money involved, the Club World Cup is expected to generate $9.6 billion just in the U.S. Now let's take a look at the World Cup. A whopping $40.9 billion expected here in the U.S. and with the economic impact on Seattle alone to top $929 million. On top of the spending, the World Cup is also going to bring jobs to Washington, about 21,000 altogether. Here's what the clubs are playing for. The FIFA Club Cup trophy came to town ahead of the tournament. Fans had the chance to see the trophy at Seattle Center and Pike Place Market. The 40-pound trophy was made by Tiffany & Company. It's plated in 24-karat gold and has a world map and the names of all 211 FIFA member associations. The engravings are in 13 different languages and also in Braille. With hundreds of thousands of soccer fans descending on the Emerald City over the next year, safety is top of mind. King 5's Farah Jadran breaks down the city's plan to make sure fans from around the globe only have to worry about how their teams play.
I spoke to the chief security officer for FIFA World Cup 2026 play here in Seattle, a former SPD chief. He told me fans will see police, private security ambassadors, and volunteers. Working with federal agencies for a couple years now, FIFA World Cup's 16 host cities are primed to kick off their respective matches.
We work with Department of Homeland Security.
John Diaz is the chief of security for 2026 FIFA World Cup play in Seattle. The former Seattle police chief told us the key to securing this magnitude of a sports event is collaboration.
Here in this state, it's going to require all the resources that we bring in, mutual aid and others from both our police, our fire, our state, local, and our federal resources.
The first Seattle-based match is slated for June 15th, 2026. By then, the security team will have logged about 3 years of planning efforts.
I think right now we have 27 work groups here in the state that have different pieces of the plan. And so we're looking at everything from the transportation side of it to the intelligence side to the training and exercise piece of it.
How high are the risks? The federal government uses the Special Event Assessment Rating, or SEER, to determine that. For comparison, the Super Bowl is a SEER 1. 2026 FIFA World Cup in the U.S. is SEER 2. Diaz says that's still extremely high, and it could be elevated to SEER 1. The rating decides the level of federal support. So what can you do to make World Cup match days fun and safe? Diaz recommends you arrive early and don't linger outside Lumen Field so those areas can be secured too. Be sure to bring a clear bag for your belongings. That's a policy that may be news to visitors. Finally, security will be on the lookout for pyrotechnics. While they may be used in and around some global soccer stadiums, Diaz said that's not allowed here. I asked FIFA if there's an official 2026 World Cup clear bag. They said that's a good idea, so stay tuned. Keep in mind there will be security plans in place for each of the 9 fan zones throughout the state. They're running all the way from Spokane down to Vancouver. In Seattle, Farah Jadran, King 5 News.
Seattle traffic can be bad enough, so what happens when thousands of soccer fans descend on the Emerald City? King 5's Seth Sumpter has a look at what you need to know to get around town during game time.
No international travel this time around for the Sounders. The team is getting to stay at home. We catch up with the players about what it means for them to host this global tournament at home. As we head to break, here's a look at the game lineup here in Seattle. Here's a look at the 8 teams that will be playing matches here in Seattle. They are from around the world: Spain, France, Italy, Japan, Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, and the home team, the Sounders. In all, there are 8 groups in the Club World Cup. Groups B and E will have their matches at Lumen Field. The Sounders are the only team in this group that won't be traveling. All the other teams will also have matches at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. The Sounders will have home pitch advantage through the tournament. As they prepare to take a place on the worldwide stage, we caught up with them. Here's Paul Sylvie.
For the Sounders to compete on the global stage in the Club World Cup is, something that I never dreamed of, awfully proud of.
The Sounders will take a pause in the regular season to face the best of the best in the world of soccer. Seattle is going up against 3 soccer powerhouses: 2024 Copa Libertadores champions Botafogo, La Liga's Atletico Madrid, and UEFA Champions League winners Paris Saint-Germain. With how successful these 4 teams are, they're competing in what is known as the Group of Death.
This is something I dreamed of as a kid, to play against some of the biggest clubs in the world, play against some of the biggest players in the world.
Sounders players will be facing the teams and players they look up to, and all on their home turf. A big bonus for the Sounders, who will be backed by their dedicated fans.
Sounders! The home field advantage at Lumen is going to be incredibly important. I know our fans are going to show up.
Players like Atletico Madrid forward Julian Alvarez are looking forward to the energy at Lumen Field.
Well, I think it's going to be a tough match, like any other in a competition like this. I have a friend there, Pedro de la Vega, on that team, so I'm somewhat familiar with that team. But with them being the home team, I imagine there's going to be a lot of people, so it's going to be something.
In the Club World Cup format, the Sounders will be guaranteed 3 games. Seattle has played against teams of this caliber before in friendlies, but never in a tournament of this magnitude.
We want to be competitive in every tournament or competition that we enter. We understand the realities, the challenges of our group.
With the Club World Cup in Seattle, the world gets a chance to see the talent of the Pacific Northwest.
It's just a remarkable moment for the Sounders, for the region growing up in the Northwest. I mean, this is unprecedented.
One person at the center of the Club World Cup is FIFA's new chief football officer, Jill Ellis. You may know her best from leading the women's national team to 2 World Cup victories. Ahead of the tournament coming to town, King 5's Christine Pei had a chance to talk to her about what we can expect.
Jill, thank you so much for joining us. To get right into it right off the bat, tell us about the FIFA Club World Cup and why does it really stand out as one of the biggest global events?
Well, I think first and foremost, it is the first iteration of this tournament. It's a brand new tournament. It's never been held before. And obviously, we're very familiar with World Cups where we bring countries together and they compete to see who's best in the world. And this allows us to now bring the best clubs in the world to compete in a 32-team tournament this summer in the U.S. And it will give bragging rights to clubs. I mean, there's always tension between leagues around the world. We have the best players, best teams. And now we actually get to see it play out, and we get to watch this amazing tournament with some of the best players in the world. I mean, I think one of the unique things that I was actually reading was that, in the World Cup, you've obviously got 32 and 48 countries represented. There's going to be over 80 plus countries represented at this tournament. So whether you're a fan of a club or a fan of a player, there's going to be something for everybody, I think.
That's actually one of the questions I had, because a lot of people are obviously very familiar with the World Cup, but the Club World Cup is very distinctive. Is it in a way just a preview or perhaps a taste of what's to come when we do have the World Cup in 26?
Well, it's certainly in terms of scope and size and excitement and energy and the quality of play, there'll be a lot of similarities for sure, because again, you're bringing some of the best players in the world to come play on this stage. But, you know, it is different because you've suddenly got club teams that maybe have 10 to 12 different nationalities on the club team. So it's very different in terms of its sense and format. And obviously, you know, Seattle is probably one of the best venues, not just from the history of Seattle and what it has in soccer, but in terms of the amount of teams that are coming in there. I mean, you truly have, you know, teams from Japan, from all over the world, literally coming into your backyard. And I think it's going to make it really, really exciting. But listen, at the end of the day, it's going to be a highly competitive. This is not a friendly. I was explaining to some friends of mine, it's kind of almost that March Madness feel. You know, you can't ease into this tournament. You've got to come out of the gate. You've got to get out of your group. And then it's a one and done format, which is very intriguing and obviously exciting.
Certainly. And Jill, you mentioned Seattle. Of course, we are very proud to be amongst one of the North American cities to be hosting not only for the Club World Cup, but for the actual World Cup. Why do you think the Emerald City was chosen in the mix?
Listen, I from the days of coaching at UCLA to coaching the U.S. Women's National, I mean, Seattle has such an amazing history. I mean, the Sounders, I've been at their games, amazing fans. There's just such a tradition there. You know, you've got such a great history of developing players. I mean, Casey Keller, and there's so much history there. And success there, you know, in terms of the Sounders and what they've done. And obviously the Seattle Reign on the women's side, that it made perfect sense for it to be a landing spot for both this club tournament this year, this Club World Cup, and then obviously the World Cup next year. Because one, we know that there's a baked-in fan base that people, you know, and I say this in a very warm way, crazy about their soccer in Seattle. So I think it's a perfect host venue. And, you know, and again, I think I know there'll be a lot of fans from around the world traveling in, and Seattle in and of itself as a city is such a great destination, such a cool city to visit.
Absolutely. We wholeheartedly agree. And Jill, you know, when we think about soccer, football here in the United States, certainly it's not perhaps arguably as popular as some of the other major sports, like let's say baseball and whatnot. What sort of impact do you think that these tournaments, which come every few years, have in terms of soccer in the United States?
Well, I think, you know, and I would say this now is like soccer is, yes, we can say it's still growing and we want it to still grow, but it's very much here. I mean, you know, I look at the number of fans that come to the Sounders games, but, you know, I was around in '94 when we hosted the Men's World Cup and we saw this massive boost. And then from out of that, we get a men's professional league in the MLS. We had the '99 Women's World Cup, which again raised the profile of soccer and put women's football, you know, in terms of on the map. So, I think this will be another opportunity for us to, you know, again, the coach in me says, if it's the little boy or girl that watches a game and then goes out and picks up a soccer ball and starts dribbling around their backyard, that's part of the inspiration of hosting such a major event. So you want to continue to grow, whether it's the players brand, whether it's the club. You know, the Sounders are now going to be seen around the world because people around the world are going to watch this tournament, or whether it's the sport itself and growing that and the investment and the growth in that. I think hosting a major world event like the FIFA Club World Cup will absolutely shine a light on this sport.
Absolutely. Jill, thank you so much for getting us pumped for this. We are looking forward to a wonderful tournament. Thank you so much.
We have much more to come. The World Cup is still a year away, but Lumen Field is already getting ready. A look at the facelift the pitch will get once the Seahawks wrap up their season. With thousands of soccer fans getting ready to flood SoDo, get ready for added traffic over the next few weeks. Seth Sumpter has a look at how the city plans to handle the crowd.
Seattle is preparing to welcome some of the biggest Club World teams, but the pressure won't just be on the pitch, it's on the pavement too, as transportation agencies gear up for a massive influx of fans. Soon, soccer fans from around the world will be in Seattle for the FIFA Club World Cup. And with matches happening during WashDOT's tight construction window, drivers could be in for some serious delays.
People just need to be prepared for traffic. There's going to be a lot of closures out there because it's summertime. It's the best time for us to do work.
On Friday, June 20th, drainage work will close 2 northbound lanes on the Ship Canal Bridge for the weekend, overlapping with a match on Saturday at noon.
Usually when there's a big event, we try to avoid working on it, but we have reached the point where we need to keep working.
WashDOT is encouraging people to plan ahead, travel during off-peak hours, or take transit if possible. And Sound Transit says they're ready.
We're preparing to have 6 Seahawks games in 10 days.
To handle crowds, they're adding extra sounder trains for 5 of the 6 matches and making adjustments during peak commuting times.
We're trying to add service where we can to provide the best ride possible, both for Club World Cup attendees and our regular customers.
King County Metro is adding more buses after matches and extending water taxi service on June 15th and June 25th.
Transit is your friend, and I encourage for residents that haven't explored that path to continue exploring it, as it will be the most effective and efficient way to get around Seattle.
SDOT says that was the big takeaway when other big events like the MLB All-Star were in town. It is making parts of downtown more pedestrian friendly on match days. In Pioneer Square, Occidental Way will be shut down to vehicles.
So this particular corridor will be experimenting to make it a pedestrian wall, to make the connection for people that are coming through transit and so forth to head to the stadium.
The city's goal is increasing walkability, responding to incidents quickly, and keeping traffic flowing on major arterials. Across the board, agencies are asking for patience, as this is a test run for what's ahead next summer. Some of the preparation is already underway for next year's FIFA World Cup. Both SDOT and WashDOT plan to pause construction. For this month's Club World Cup, you'll see more ambassadors and security around the city, helping fans and locals get around. In Seattle, Seth Sumpter, King 5 News.
While we are excited now about the Club World Cup, once a champion takes home a trophy for that, the countdown will begin to the World Cup. 16 stadiums in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico will host games. The World Cup runs from June 11th next year to July 19th. 6 of 104 matches will be held here in Seattle. Here's a look at our host city poster with everything from a whale's tail to Mount Rainier. Right now, you can register for the chance to get tickets to the matches. If you can't make it into the venues or Lumen Field, there will be 9 fan zones across the state which will host watch parties. Before the World Cup gets underway, some work needs to be done at Lumen Field. First, the artificial turf will be replaced with real grass. The state budget signed earlier this month sets aside almost $30 million for Seattle to prepare for the global event. About 2/3 of that funding, $19.4 million, will go to Lumen Field. Besides the grass pitch, the money will be used to enhance security and upgrade seating in the bleachers. The real grass will be put down after the Seahawks finish their season. Lumen will be rebranded Seattle Stadium during the games to meet FIFA rules. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of King 5 News. And get ready for soccer fans from around the globe coming to visit Seattle to root on their favorite teams. And most of all, go Sounders. Stay with us here on King 5 News and King 5 Plus for the latest as the tournament continues and the countdown to World Cup 2026.